I'm Amber, and my husband is Frank. We live outside of Birmingham, Alabama. We have 4 beautiful boys. Frankie, who is 17, Stephen, who is 14, and then we have a set of boy twins who are 4 years old, and they are nonverbal autistic. Their names are Alex and Will. We are the Ellis family. My husband and I have known each other since grade school, and we were friends the whole time. We dated in high school and married in college, and this is our 20th wedding anniversary. Because we have some issues with the boys, we have not been on a trip in a really long time. They're not very effective at communication, so it takes a lot of intuition to figure out what they need. We have a lot of meltdowns. Oh, did he throw it? Aw. Did he drop it or did he throw it? It's okay. And then when there are 2 autistic nonverbal children, the behaviors can be exponential. Sometimes they play off of each other. It's all right. It's all right. It's okay. Before the twins were born, we were just a family of 4. And we had the 2 older brothers who kind of sort of got along, but not really. But after the twins came, the dynamic changed to this really sweet caretaking dynamic. And especially as the twins got older and they stopped developing, or their development was very slow, we all kind of began to understand that the twins were going to need a lot more. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. For a long time, we didn't have any support. We didn't really talk about the twins. Pretty much only my closest friends knew that the twins were special needs. And for a long time, I thought I could fix them, that it was just a developmental delay, that I could give them the right supplement or the right food or the right therapy and they would catch up. But over the course of maybe the last year or so, I began to realize, and I think my husband and I began to realize, that this is who they are. And it's not something that you can fix, it's how they're wired. We began to come to terms with their special needs, their autism. They're so precious, even though they may be different, not less. They're just different, that's all. And people need to see the story. People need to know that you can make it work. We can make it work. We started talking about taking a trip. How should we do it? This is our 20th anniversary. We have come through so much as a family that we wanted to go as a family and just enjoy each other. So we felt like it was time to go on a trip. All right, so take 1, 2, 3, 4. It's taken us a long time to come to the point where we were ready. We've never flown with the twins before, so we're kind of nervous and excited about getting on a plane. Okay, so let's do each. Because they're autistic nonverbal, they function on about the level of an 18-month-old. So they're a lot of work.
The way our schedules, our work schedules and the school schedules for the kids work together, there's not a whole lot of days every month where we're all together at the same time. We have little bits, an hour or 2 here at the end of the day, if they've not fallen asleep already. But whole days don't happen very often for us. A few years ago, we went to the beach for a couple of days together, but they were very small.
To break routine for an autistic child can be disastrous. So this gives us an opportunity to break routine only for a little while and try it and see how the boys cope in a different environment and still have some of their comfortable surroundings. They'll have us and the older boys and some of their familiar objects, but be in a different place and see if we can start taking longer trips. Okay, how are we gonna do an airplane? Somebody's always got to take care of one of the twins. Another person has to take care of the other one. And then who's going to take care of all of the things that we take with us? What all do we need to take? What snacks are we going to have? Let's see, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Do we take the blankies? Do we take toys? Do we need to take the iPad? Things to keep them entertained. We actually got in touch with the airline that we were going to use and talked to a coordinator who let us have a trial run through the airport, which was phenomenal. It was the most fabulous idea anyone has ever come up with. I had been pretty fearful, but after that day I felt much better, and I thought, I think we can do this. We can make it work. We can get on a plane and go on a trip. It's gonna be stressful, and there's gonna be meltdowns. Hey, it's okay. If they melt down, how do we deal with the people around us? How do we let them know that it's really okay and that we're actually okay with meltdowns? We just have to kind of help keep them calm and try to soothe them as much as possible. Because you worry about the people around you, that you're offending people, or and you worry about being judged. Look how handsome you are! Just to know that somebody understands is so helpful. And you all of a sudden don't feel so crazy. They're autistic, so they come with their own needs, you know? So we are going to take the whole family for the first time to a special park called Wonderland in San Antonio, Texas. It's a special needs park, and they have lots of fun things for specifically special needs children, very wheelchair accessible.
There's a lot of different ways it could go, you know, with their very strict routines that they have to have. Going outside of that a little bit will stress them a little bit, and you just kind of have to roll with it. So
I'm looking forward to it primarily because it's a new thing that we haven't done before, so it's kind of just like challenge accepted. Let's do it.
That's the fun for him, is let's do this. Let's see if we can accomplish it. So it's just his personality, but it's a lot of fun.
I've played too many strategy games.
Everything is pretty ready. We'll just have a nice quiet evening, finishing up any last details, and then we'll be ready for tomorrow. Okay, let's get your hair all pretty, all handsome. Yeah, and we're gonna go on our trip, and you're gonna be so handsome. You sit up for me? And you're gonna be so handsome. He's so upset because he wants to go get in the car. Where are we going? Are we going on our trip? You ready? Okay, all ready. I have the food, the boys' clothes, our clothes, iPads, the blankies. We have the wagon. I think that's everything. Okay, let's go. So we went outside to load the car and pull up to the main porch, and I couldn't crank the car. It wouldn't crank. Told the husband, can you come and look at the car and try to fix it? And of course he worked his magic and got the car running again. I was so nervous up until this point, but we've prepared so much. And we've already seen a little bit of meltdown because he's actually wanting to go. So I think it's gonna be really good. Everything went fairly well, and we allowed enough time for any problems that might have popped up, like the car. So we're still running very early schedule. We'll get to the airport probably about 2 hours before we board the plane. So we are going to fly out of Birmingham and fly to Houston. The flight from Birmingham to Houston is a relatively short flight. It's only 2 hours. From there, we will rent a truck or some kind of vehicle and drive the rest of the way to San Antonio.
Please present ticket to exit.
Okay, I might be getting a little nervous now because we're at the airport and we're pulling into the parking deck, so it's really real. We're gonna do it. Okay.
Frank Sr., Frank Jr., Stephen, Alex, you,
Me,
and Will.
Will. Yay! Look at that lens. Got it? Here, take more time to look at the lens. Ready? It's kind of a healing time for our family. It's redemptive. We can go on this trip together. Good? The older boys have such a sweet dynamic with the little boys.
Yeah,
that
we're
okay?
gonna try. Yeah, we're
Okay.
gonna try it. Tanzania.
So instead of patting them down, they put this little solution on them. Sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Here, let's do it.
But 2 toddlers is difficult. Ready to start riding? Well, when you add nonverbal autistic, it just makes it exponential. I always feel this sense to like rush and get everything packed, but we have plenty of time. And so I kind of have to emotionally prepare myself. I'm so relieved that that part is over. Now let's just get to the gate. Kind of carry that anxiety in the back of your mind of how is it gonna go? Just kind of be ready to roll with the punches. Whatever happens, just be ready for anything. Traveling for toddlers is difficult. And 2 toddlers can be really difficult. Well, when you add nonverbal autistic, it just makes it exponential. And so it's taken us a long time to come to the point where we were ready. Will has noise canceling headphones. He has strong sensory issues with hearing. You can tell it's painful. We're probably gonna have a meltdown or 2. We might have some vomit. You know, it might happen. But the flight from Birmingham to Houston is a relatively short flight. It's only 2 hours. And the boys do like car travel. Okay, now we're on the fast part. We're about to go fast and go up into the air. Are you ready? Let's do it. Whatever happens, just be ready for anything and just kind of be ready to roll with the punches. What do you think about this fast plane? Okay, it's gonna be a little bumpy. You're doing so good. Things are going really well. One boy is asleep and the other is almost asleep. So maybe flying at nap time is a good time to fly. We like the idea of getting into a truck and driving the rest of the way to San Antonio. It's about another 2.5 hour drive. And then we will go to the park.
Did you sleep with Big Brother? You did. What'd you think? Is it time to go play? It is. Time to get some clothes on.
And then he grabbed my hand and tried to walk us out the front door.
It's time to go. Alex is ready.
The worst part was over. The anxiety that I was experiencing was mostly about the flight. I woke up this morning ready to prepare for the park. Then we'll hop in the car and go. He knows we're going somewhere fun. headed to Morgan's Wonderland, which is a theme park in San Antonio, Texas for special needs children. Lots of fun things for children of all cognitive levels to experience. Morgan's Wonderland came about when the founder, Gordon Hartman, sold his construction company and was able to devote all of his time to building this park for his daughter. She was developmentally delayed and made this wonderful playground in her honor and for her, and opened it up to the world. This beautiful park with a carousel, a Ferris wheel, a train, with colors and sensory fun things and everything that small children and big kids alike would love to come and have fun. It was almost as if it was built for us. So where do y'all recommend we go first?
Do you like it? Oh my goodness! You like it? Yeah? Yeah? What do you think?
Alex is in his happy place because he loves trains so much. We'll probably ride the train at least 5 times today. So tell us a little bit about the park and how you came to build Morgan's Wonderland.
Well, actually, it occurred many years ago when Maggie, my wife, Morgan, and I were on a trip. And Morgan wanted to go swimming. Morgan and I jumped in and we were having fun, just kind of splashing around in the water. And there were 3 other kids at the other end of the pool, 2 of them throwing the ball back and forth. She wasn't able to verbally communicate, hey, I want to play, can I join in with you guys? So what she did is she hit the ball. And so they quickly grabbed the ball and got out of the pool, because it was not a normal way of saying, hey, I just want to play.
Right.
And Morgan, that look on her face was like, Dad, I don't understand, I just want to play. And it bothered me because all I wanted is the opportunity for my daughter to be able to play.
Right.
And so where would we go for Morgan? We couldn't take her to a lot of parks because of certain circumstances of hers, and talking to others we found the same situation. So how do we develop a place where those who have special needs and those who don't could all come together and play in a fully inclusive environment?
Right.
And that was basically those discussions, those chit-chats. Those meetings eventually turned into what we now have here today, Morgan's Wonderland and Morgan's Inspiration Island.
That is so amazing.
And since then, people from all over the United States and literally all over the world make special trips to come here in an environment that is just different than any other environment in the world.
Right. Whoa. Alex, look. What do you think? This is amazing.
Alex really likes, iPads and things like that he can manipulate. So when he came into this room, there's not a lot of extra noise, but there's a lot of things that he can touch.
I'm so proud of you.
We started traveling with Benny when he was 6 months old. That was
Sweet.
before we knew he had special needs. So he's very used to it, and we did as much as we could before he turned 2, and we had to start buying a ticket for him.
Yes.
So by the time we did have a diagnosis, he was so used to traveling, it just wasn't.
So you just
a big
acclimated
deal.
him to it. So I just met Danielle, who has a 5-year-old boy who is also nonverbal autistic. So we just had a really fun time catching up. My new friend, we just friended each other on Facebook, and it was really lovely to talk to her about, there's so many similarities, and well, how do you do this?
It's better if you try to align the flights with his normal sleeping times.
We found that out.
Yes.
Yay.
It's really the other people on the plane. Sometimes you get people who are less understanding than others.
Yeah,
But
I was kind of worried about
It's
that.
pretty rare, I would say.
It's great to find community in this setting where we can talk and make new friends. You ready? Come on.
So we ran into a mom here that we got to talking, and we found out we both had autistic children. She said there's another place really close by that we ought to check out. So I think we're going to head on over now and check that out and see how our kids like it.
Here we go. Up. And we're going to hold. And off we go.
I had a lot of fears going into this trip. When you have a special needs child, you can't predict their behavior, and you especially can't predict it in public around other people. And it didn't happen.
That park was made for children like them, so we felt safe. And that's one thing we really have trouble sometimes. We don't really feel safe taking them to the normal places where regular children are.
To be honest, they're having a lot more fun than I would have thought. Like, normally to get them to have this much fun is kind of rare. Like, we have to do the little, like, yank-a-mouse things that make those weird noises, and that's the only time that they'll be smiling and laughing this much. But this, like, almost this whole place just has that same effect.
I was literally terrified that we would get into a situation where they would be melting down, lots of tears, really loud, just complete emotional breakdown for the world to see. And it didn't happen. Everything went much more calmly than I thought it would. They slept on the plane. They had a lot of fun at the theme parks, and the theme parks were built for them. They welcomed them with open arms and let them enjoy themselves.